Weekend Edition.
Good morning. I'm Taylor Upchurch. Today is Saturday, February 23rd. Meteorologist Kelly McShane starts us off with our severe weather alert day coverage. Kelly?
Taylor, it has been raining and raining and raining, and you can see that on Pinpoint Doppler. Plenty of greens, even pockets of heavier rainfall in those yellows and oranges this morning. So we have been seeing that for the last couple of hours, and it will continue for the next couple of hours as well. We do have flood watches in effect for our Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Lawrence County, Kentucky. Now that ends tomorrow morning, so it's still in effect for today, and this flash flood watch is in effect today through Sunday morning. Now that is for the majority of eastern Kentucky, so we are expecting plenty of rainfall over the next couple of hours. Travel forecast: heavy rainfall at times. Do not go on the roads if you do not have to this morning. This afternoon it might not be raining as much as this morning, but we will have a slight break, and those threats are still going to continue even if it's not raining. Our headlines for today: heavy rainfall, especially this morning and later on this evening. We could see a couple of storms, possibly on the stronger side, but is relief on the way? I'll let you know if we see any good news in the forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Thanks, Kelly. And now to breaking news this morning. We told you about it earlier. Police are investigating a death in Knox County. They say it happened late last night in the Walker community. Police identified the man who was found dead as 55-year-old Charles C. Davidson. The Knox County coroner pronounced him dead at Barberville ARH. An autopsy is scheduled to determine the cause of death. For now, this is all we know, and we will continue to update you on this story. And roads are closed in parts of Knox County as emergency officials keep a close eye on the weekend. With more rain, there could be more problems in the southeastern Kentucky community. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on the conditions there.
A drizzly rain has been falling all day today in Knox County. There are a number of roadways that are closed because of high water. The city of Barberville is protected, of course, by this flood wall that was built in 1984 after a devastating flood in 1977.
It is, and most of that is because of our diversion channel we have just south of town. It was built in 1986, and it really moves the water on down the river and gets it away from us.
Barberville has little worry when it comes to flooding, but out in Knox County there are still many roads that flood whenever this much rain falls. Occasionally some people have to be evacuated, but so far this week no homes have been in harm's way.
But I think we've learned to move up higher on the hills as we build, and get out of the flood. So
Kentucky 459 remains closed, and the picnic area and playground at Dr. Thomas Walker State Historic Site were underwater on Friday. With 2 to 4 inches of rain forecasted, officials say they are keeping a close eye on other areas that could see problems.
And our biggest concern, and we're going to be working with the Weather Service, we talk to them quite a bit, is thunderstorms, because that's hard to predict how much rain comes out of those.
Every road leading into the city of Barberville has a floodgate. These floodgates, I am told, have never had to be used. They do not expect they will have to use them this weekend either. In Knox County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Knox County emergency officials say the Cumberland River in Knox County should crest lower this weekend than it did earlier this week. And a section of Kentucky 15, which leads into downtown Whitesburg, is closed because of concerns about a rock slide. City officials noticed this rock wall bulging and leaning closer to the roadway. They say this because this rock could slip and collapse onto the roadway. They are keeping the road closed until crews clear the rocks. This is one of about 5 slides within the city limits of Whitesburg, which led officials to declare a state of emergency. The city manager says this part of the road could be closed for weeks.
They said it could be up to 2 weeks, but if it went ahead and fell over, probably could be sooner than that. But they're going to have to bring equipment in here to pull the piece of rock off of the cliff.
Letcher County Judge Executive Terry Adams says he declared a countywide emergency less than 2 weeks ago because of similar issues. And if you plan on driving in Knott County this weekend, be careful along Kentucky 582. There is a break in the road because of all this rain. It connects the Litcar and Kite communities. There is a stoplight on both sides of the break directing people, but one lane is still open. And a massive rock slide in Pike County destroyed cars and damaged a local business. The slide happened overnight Thursday along South Mayo Trail right outside of downtown Pikeville. Several cars were damaged and 2 are still trapped in the debris. A tree hit a local business and caused some damage.
Thank God, no one was around when this happened. I mean, there may have been people in the area, but thankfully there was nobody in this business, no cars right there that were occupied. So, thank God for that.
Officials say they do not know when the slide will be cleaned up, and they have multiple other mudslides around the county. The water is still rising in Whitley County, and emergency management officials say it's some of the worst flooding they've seen. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds has more.
It's a light at the end of the tunnel for parts of Whitley County.
Out in the county, a lot of our streams have gone down now.
But the runoff had to go somewhere.
Last I checked, we had 25 feet here in Williamsburg. This is probably a little more than the last time we had a flood. Quite a bit more water here in the park.
And now fears are rising with the flood.
Just backing up. Hopefully it doesn't get into the football field.
Damage isn't the only thing Moses is worried about.
I saw a guy was going to go in his driveway the other day, and he had to be pulled out. It's very dangerous going in. You could lose your life.
Now they're staying alert as best they can.
We've got 2 rescue squads that's trained with water rescue, so they can help us if we need to go get a patient out. We're ready as we can be.
Hoping the flooding stops. In Whitley County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
University of the Cumberland's workers have put barriers around the football field, hoping to stop some of the water from coming onto the field. And the Housing Development Alliance in Perry County received a grant for an opioid recovery workforce training program. This $800,000 grant will fund its Hope Building Workforce Development Project. The project will provide paid on-the-job training in residential construction to people suffering from addiction. And a former UK student went in front of a Lexington judge yesterday, answering to charges in connection to the death of 4-year-old Marco Shemwell. It was the first time Jacob Hale appeared in court since the September crash. Hale was silent as a not guilty plea was entered on his behalf. He's charged with 1 count of reckless homicide. It's a felony, so if found guilty, he could spend 1 to 5 years behind bars. A pre-trial date has been scheduled for March. And our sister station WVLT captured drone video of Bald River Falls near Tellico Plains, Tennessee. It shows just how much rain has fallen over East Tennessee in the past several weeks. In February alone, they have seen more than 7 inches of rain. And coming up on Mountain News this morning, one senator is pushing for support for a school safety bill, and others have questions about funding it. And later we will check in with Jason Lindsay to see what he is working on for us in this morning's Hooked on Science segment.
Not only do we have flooding on the table, we could see strong storms tonight. I'll break down those details coming up next.
Now held over